folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It is Saturday, April 30th, and man, what a beautiful day. The wind has finally let up. It's been blowing crazy hard for like 3 weeks. I don't know how the bees can even forage when it's blowing so hard like that. We were under tornado watch last night, but we didn't get anything here. Looks like all the active tornadoes were up in Kansas, so up north is where all of that hit. We did have some tornado activity come through central Oklahoma last week, and put a quick little clip in here of that. But one went right out across our northwest side here. That I don't think it touched down till it got into like the Oklahoma City area. But we did have, for all these high winds, man, lots of stuff blowing around. So this tree here was dead already, but the wind blew it down. There's a few dead elms in here that still need taken out, and need to work on those. I try to do that in the winter time because I don't like messing with trees and stuff when it's hot and bugs and ticks, and it's a mess. I just don't like messing with that. So haven't shot an update since I think December last year, or maybe it was November, but gosh, I've been so busy. I've been working all winter and early spring on my irrigation, my drip system for all my trees, and I've got all that done. I'm redoing the drip system in the garden because I didn't like the way it turned out, and it was like the whole garden watered at the same time. So I'm fixing it where I have small zones, because I don't want to water the whole garden when the whole garden's not planted, so it's kind of a waste of water. But anyway, let's walk around and I'll do the normal loop and show you what's going on. Here's some more irises blooming, and that's a vitex that's up in the middle of that. So the vitex doesn't do real good here. It's too close to all this tree canopy. This whole area here on this embankment is vitex, Agnus castus variety, and it doesn't bloom, and when it does, it doesn't bloom much. So I have cleared out some. I cleared out in here, but I want to take out a little bit of these elms. They're probably going to die, like that one's dead right there, and get a little bit more sunlight in here. And this embankment here drops off and goes down to that dry creek, and right down there is where camera one is, where I have my game cameras. So my wildlife channel with my game cameras, actually it got monetized, and 1,000 subscribers. I think it's around 1,100 now, so check that out. It's good stuff, I'm telling you. So here's spirea, another spirea blooming. That's I think it's, my wife called it a double, so like the flowers are like extra flowery. Man, the chickens are upset about something. So fruit trees, all of the fruit trees have bloomed, and no freeze, no frost. So looky there, baby peaches. Ooh. So we've had frosts up into May, so hopefully we will get through. So now I need to spray these with the organic spray, whatever it is. I think it's a mineral oil that works on the insects. So yeah, look at this. Chip drop came through. So I actually got 2 loads in one day. So they unloaded it right here, and I moved it around with my tractor into the compost area. And they had a little surprise in it for me, which I said some small logs were okay, but this big sucker here was in there. And it looks like the base of a tree. It's like it might be a cottonwood. So there are actually 4 of these. There were 3 more logs, and I was able to get the other 3 in my front end loader, but that one there won't fit. It's just too big. And here's where the chips were. They were here for probably about a month until I got them located down there. So I've used those quite a bit, side dressing my trees. I didn't do the fruit trees with the chips because I have comfrey planted around all of them. So here you can see this comfrey's blooming. So the bumblebees get on those comfrey blooms. The honeybees not so much. I think the flower is too deep. This here's a pear tree. I don't see any partridges, but we do have some baby pears right there. And this is an apple. This is a peach. That's a cherry. The cherry was in full bloom. The graft and the bark at the bottom of that cherry is in bad shape, so I don't expect that to live much longer. On the composting front, so yeah, all these wood chips, they will break down and make some really good compost that has the fungi in it that's good for your soil, because I like hanging out with really fun guys. Oh, that was terrible. Anyway, so this is the newest batch of compost. Just a bunch of brown rough stuff, dead heads off of the bulbs. So a lot of the bulbs bloomed this year. All the bulbs bloomed just about. So we had about 2,000 bulbs we planted. We got about 3/4 of them done before my wife had her accident, hurt her wrist real bad. And now she's had shoulder surgery, so the same fall she had, it injured her shoulder as well. So she had 2 tendons had to be repaired in her shoulder. So she's on day 5, I think, out of there. So this is the latest compost. It was here. I moved it over here, put it on top of all of last year's garden clean out. So that's what's working there. Got some volunteer sunflowers. Let's see, another peach tree, and that's an apricot that came up from root. The actual tree died, so I don't know what'll come from that. Okay, the big garden did a lot of work on this. So the wood chips went on here. So actually on this garden, on this side, I did cover crop. It was rye, peas, and daikon radish. So the radish is all bored down. The rye was up tall. This spring I mowed it all down. I covered it with cardboard, covered this whole thing with cardboard, and put about 6 inches, 4 inches of wood chips on top of the cardboard. So there's the cardboard layer right there. So you can see how deep that is. So all this will break down. It will prevent weeds, so you don't see any weeds. That's awesome. So this works great. This method works really good, except when you have Bermuda grass. Bermuda grass will put its little tendrils up in here and just take it over. So, and I don't have any Bermuda grass down here, which usually where I don't want the Bermuda grass is where it grows, and I can't hardly get it going in my yard or anywhere else. So I have bare dirt clumps where these flags are, and you can see I've got my drip irrigation here. So that's going to be for watermelons, and I'm going to try and get those planted this weekend. And I have 1 row right here, and I've got my drip line on that, and that will be cantaloupes is the plan for that. Got the asparagus going. So this asparagus is its 3rd year. I started that from seed, and I'm not growing buckets. I did plant a few asparagus seeds right along here this year. to get those going. But this big asparagus was started from a seed indoors in little pots. I've harvested a few spears off of it early on, but it's really not making enough to, you know, make a meal for anyone. But at first it did, and we're done. So I'm just letting it grow now and letting it get strong down below. I might dig these up later on and divide them out, like in the fall. Whenever you're supposed to do that, I'm not sure. But these little ones here are ones I started last year. And there should be some little seeds start coming up in here too. So I have to really watch when I'm weeding and what I'm pulling. So got a few marigolds. I just let them go. And I got broccoli going here. I started this broccoli indoors, and I've got the insect barrier over it, so it looks pretty good. I don't see any heads starting to form yet. I was probably about 3 weeks late on getting this going when I started it indoors, but we'll see how it goes. And my Dixondale onions, I have a row of them here, and got my irrigation line running through that. So I'll run that irrigation for about 30 minutes, and it soaks that real good. And it's also inside on the broccoli. And I have this little 1/4 inch, which I don't like this 1/4 inch. It doesn't flow real good. I have this 1/4 inch line that's doing the asparagus. So behind me, I'm about halfway done. I put little tomatoes I started from seed out here, and I've gotten them hardened off, and I've got a few more to do and go down this row here. So we're on our last jar of salsa from last year, so it's going to be a sad day when I have to buy some store-bought pecani sauce. Oh my gosh, I hate that stuff. But, you know, I can't live without my pecani sauce. So I got my drip irrigation on all of my fruit trees. You can kind of see in the dirt there where the line went. So I got little emitters on every one of these. I have emitters on every one of my new trees. Well, new, my young ones, that's what I mean. I got maples going. Hey ladies. Chickens are doing pretty good. Henny Penny is still alive, I hope. She's been getting shots this week, giving her Thailand, because her gut gets full of fluid, her egg duct is broke down, and the body just can't absorb all those eggs. And she's really old for a chicken anyway. So we're taking care of her best we can. So here's Peach, and I think both of these are peaches. Yeah, there's some peaches right there. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I might have peaches this year. Look at those. One of these puts on real early. I'm not sure which one. They get ripe faster than all the others. Yeah, you can see grass is growing real good around my fruit trees because I put organic fruit tree fertilizer to bear a lot of fruit. Man, look at that. It is loaded. Probably going to have to thin these at some point so it doesn't break the limbs. Man, that would be a good problem to have. They keep this edge down real good. Look at that. There's not a green thing all along that fence. So I haven't had any predator issues. The electric fence in conjunction with the 6 foot and the net have not lost one chicken to predators since we modified that and did that. The fodder feeder's doing well. Got to keep it watered. It's got clover in there, but a lot of weeds have gotten started this year. I need to reseed it. Let's go check on Henny Penny. She's noisy. Yeah, so I've been picking comfrey for them every day and giving them some comfrey. They really like that. Someone just laid an egg, sounds like. Where's Henny Penny? I don't see her. Oh, she's over there in the corner. There she is. Hey, Henny Penny. She stays in here the last week or so, but she had been doing pretty good, and all the fluid got off of her belly. So last time she responded real well to those antibiotics, and it got her where she's out running around. If you remember the last video, she was running around like a penguin because her backside's all full of fluid. Got a couple of layers here. And the eggs. I didn't get eggs yesterday, so we got a lot of eggs. Okay, let's get out of here. Oh, my head. Get some of these comfrey leaves. Here you go. We'll throw one in there for Henny Penny. Yeah, right in front of her. Okay, over here, start here first. This is Dixondale onions. So we have Texas Super Sweets and Yellow Granics. Right there's the divider. I don't remember which is on which side. But these were planted. It's the same onions that are over there in the big garden, but these were planted and they've been in the ground probably 3 weeks longer than those over there. Just timing and getting things done. So these actually had, I got them in pretty early, and there was a pretty good frost, freeze, and snow on top of these. So I put that straw in there and put plastic over them, and they had about 6 inches of snow on top of them that day. But you know, they were not very, they were like about that tall at that time, so didn't bother them at all. In the cold frame, I had the spinach planted about the same time I did those onions, and it came up good. I had all of this full of lettuce I planted at the same time. We got like 4.5 inches of rain, and this thing filled up with water. Somehow it got in there. It was a lot of rain in a short amount of time, so all my lettuce on this side died out, and I had to replant it. So all of this is a second planting of that lettuce, so it's just now starting to come in fairly well. And man, if you don't have one of these, you can get one of these. It's called a hula hoe. It's basically a stirrup hoe, and you can get between your rows real easy, and it just chops the weeds right off. It's cool. I think those are lettuce sprouts. I'm not going to kill those, but when you get like little crabgrass shoots coming up, it just takes them right off. And if you put your stuff in rows like this, you can get between them real easy and just take care of that stuff. Anyway, yeah, check that out. I'll see if they still sell on Amazon, and if they do, I'll put a link below for you to check that out. But this spinach here is coming out good, so the chickens will be eating on that, and us. See, I transplanted, so all last summer I had daylilies laying there on the ground that I dug out of this cold frame, and they just lay there all year, and they actually got mowed off one time and just laying there in a pile. And so I transplanted them right here, and they're actually growing, man. There are some tough bulbs, so they're right there. And I also dug these irises up and split them and put them right here. So the wife planted the 2 days before surgery, man, she was going crazy doing everything she could outside because she knew she would be laid up for a while. But In here she's planted sunflowers in both of these front beds. So there's sunflower seeds in there. Let's go ahead and get on in the garden. So this year I took down these cow panels that were like lined up straight here, and I made like an arbor. So we like these pole beans, Kentucky Wonder pole beans. They're awesome. They grow good, they taste good. You got to pick them fairly young, but they will vine up in here, and they will be all the way up to the top before the summer's in. Probably July they'll be all the way up there. So the beans will just hang down, and we'll just pop the beans off. So this will be a totally enclosed arbor here. Hopefully that'll work out good. So we got the beans are all coming up. I don't know if we need to thin those or not. I'm thinking they're going to be okay. And in here I've got some tomato starts that I bought these. Let's go around that other side. Oh, chives. I had one big clump of chives right here, and I broke it apart and spread it out down this row. So there's a good bunch of chives there. Let's see, there's some beet seed in here. This the tape kind. It's a little late for beets, but we went ahead and did it anyway. And we don't have a lot planted in here. I think she may have put sunflowers in this area. The strawberries, we need to pick some. Some right there. Yeah. We got quite a few strawberries. Yeah, those are good looking. So I just had them in here last year, and they started growing this way. So I transplanted some of the new starts down in here. Man, something happened to that one. Anyway, we're doing strawberries all down this row too. These are Fooled You jalapenos. So that's like a jalapeno that doesn't get hot. And we can see the wind blew everything everywhere. There's nothing in here right now. So tomatoes, we got Celebrity, Better Boy, Big Boy, Celebrity. I think that's all I have. So that's Big Boy, Celebrity, Big Boy, Celebrity. Oh, a Better Boy. I have one Better Boy. So I made a string trellis. This year I'm going to try this, and I'm started weaving those tomato vines up through that. So we got 5 there, we got 5 here, and I should have about 10 or 12 down there where I showed you before, and I've still got those little transplants I need to get out there. Over here, let's see, the dahlias that were up by the house, we dug those up in the fall, right before the first freeze, and those are all planted right here and in the other corner over there. The little rhizomes, man, they look terrible. They look dried out and dead, so I don't know if they're gonna come up or not. Right here we've got carrots, and got my drip lines going through there. And along this little trellis here will be cucumbers. You see some of the cucumbers coming up. Looks like we need to thin some of those. It's got 2 in 1. But some of my seed wasn't any good on that end, so I had to replant along there. And I've been thinning carrots and controlling the weeds along here. And this is cilantro for the salsa. And I think in this area she's planted just sunflowers. And man, look at my garlic. Look at that. I've got 20 garlic plants, and these are from, I had 4 or 5 cloves, I think it was 5, that I broke apart in the spring and planted them in here. So this is my COVID garlic. I bought garlic in the COVID pandemic in the summer and planted garlic in the summer, which you don't do, and not much of it survived. The next year I had 3 survivors, and I planted them over there where those tomatoes are, and I let those, actually it was 4. I had 4 grow. I let those go last year, and these are the little garlic bulbs from those 4 survivor plants. So I had 5 cloves on each bulb, and this is a music variety, and that's a passion flower there coming up. It just, I guess, a seed fell there somehow, but we're just letting that grow. We'll let that go up in that trellis as well. And some volunteer lettuce.